The time is upon us. For today, it's going to be a day of days. For today, we're going to review an absolute beast of a computer. A monster, if you will. My computer. The Mac Iron. Alright guys, I purchased this computer around a year and a half ago, and trust me when I say I've put this computer through the paces, put it through the ringer. I've done everything from gaming with streaming, all the way to what I do for work, which uses a lot of processing power, to rendering multiple videos at one time. Now in this video, with all testing, with everything I've done with this computer, there's no perfect computer out there. There's no completely trash computer out there, guys. If you buy it, you're buying it for a specific purpose. The specific purpose for this video, or for this computer that I'm using it for right now, is gaming, streaming, and work. So it needs a little bit of everything. And with testing stuff, you're gonna find stuff you love, and you're gonna find stuff you hate. So I'm gonna give you my unbiased review of this computer. This review isn't sponsored by Ironside. They're not paying me anything. They didn't pay for this computer. I paid for this computer out of my own pocket. And believe me when I tell you, I invested a lot of money to have a good computer. I'm doing this review so everybody who wants to purchase an Ironside computer in the future, or everybody who's thinking of buying a pre-built computer in the future, can know what it's like, what the process is, and what it's going to be like when you get the computer. And without further ado, let's go ahead and hop right into the video. As I like to start all the videos, the way I'm going to start this is with price. Because without a price point, computers can go anywhere from, I'd say, a decent computer at $500 all the way to $20,000 if you really, really want an amazing computer that can do anything you can imagine it to do. So for price. All right, guys, like I said, I didn't buy a computer. I invested in a computer. So that should let you know, and also the thumbnail should let you know how much I spent on this computer. Let me get this exact amount. I spent $5,336.49 on this computer. That is a huge investment in a computer, and it was gone in one click. Now I know a bunch of y'all are like, you know what I can do with $5,000? You know what? I could have paid some of my mortgage off. I could have helped pay some of my truck off. I could have paid some of my school bills off. But you know what? I decided that I wanted to invest in this computer. I wanted to buy a computer that can keep going with me for a couple years, and I can keep upgrading it until it finally time that I need to buy another computer. Another main reason I decided to purchase this computer is because I really wanted to invest in my future. I knew that I'd be coming back to YouTube. I knew I wanted to stream. I knew I wanted to play games, and I didn't want to have to update my computer every couple months with a newer part or something new that came out. So I wanted to get something solid that I can have for at least 2 years without even thinking about upgrading, and know that it'll do everything I needed to do. Alright guys, now that we have done the price, we're going to move on to components and the specifications. Alright guys, for the CPU, I have an AMD Ryzen 9 3900X, 3.8 gigahertz. For the GPUs, I have 2 graphics cards. They're both the EVGA GeForce GTX 1080s. One is a Superclock Gaming Edition, one isn't, just because it's the last one Ironside had, and I'm glad that they were able to give it to me. For cooling, there's a custom hardline liquid cooling installed by Ironside's manufacturers. For RAM, we have Corsair Vengeance 32 gigabytes. We got 4 sticks, 8 gigabytes each. For the hard drive, we have a 2 terabyte hard drive in there, regular 2 terabyte, just for storage for everything like games and stuff and videos that I put on there. For the solid state drive, I'm using a Samsung 860 EVO, 500 gigabytes. That's mainly just for the operating system, just to make sure my computer starts up as fast as possible. Now for the power supply, I'm using an EVGA 1000 watt 80 plus gold power supply. That specific one wasn't available when I was picking the options for creating the Mako iron that I use, but I emailed them and I talked to them, and in the end they were able to get me this power supply that I wanted. So they are very flexible when it comes to getting what you want. All right, now I'm just gonna go ahead and give you a bit of a background on me, give you a bit of, I guess, more information on me to know that I'm just not gonna hear and sell you to go buy Ironside computers. They're better than everything else out there. I'm just gonna go and give you a quick background of where I come from, okay? Or where I'm at right now. I went to college for information technology with a minor in database design. I've been building computers ever since I was 12 with my dad. I built probably around dozens of computers. I fixed hundreds of computers. Also, with that being, I've also purchased computers. I purchased my first computer from iBuyPower. I purchased computers from CyberPower PC. And now the latest one I've purchased is from Ironside. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next topic, customer service, and how was Ironside's customers. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and talk about my thought process as I was buying the computer. First thing I thought was, even though the Ironside site has every option you can think about, there are some things, if you built a computer before, you bought a pre-built computer before, there are certain things you want that, of course, they're not going to be standard on every computer, aren't going to be standard on the site. So you do have to contact them and ask them about said option. So for this computer that I wanted, I saw the video that they had, and then I saw the case, and that's where I began to call it the beast, because I knew that this was the case I'm gonna have. This is the computer I'm gonna have. So I contacted them immediately. I knew how much money I wanted to spend. I knew a roundabout number. I thought it was gonna be around $4,000, and honestly, it was around $4,000. I'm saying it was $4,217.49. That was how much I paid initially when I purchased the computer. But before purchasing it, I contacted them. I made sure all the parts worked with each other. I made sure it was exactly what I wanted. I'm talking about, I sent dozens of emails. I asked them hundreds of questions on live chat. I asked them even more questions through email. And I even called them a couple times to make sure that it was going to be the perfect computer before I bought the computer. Now, I know some of y'all are wondering, okay, Kyle says you spent over $5,000, but you're saying you only spent $4,000. Yes, that's right. Okay. I did spend, the initial cost was $4,217.49. Now, that initial cost just comes with the first thing I bought. After I ordered the computer, they shipped it to me. I got it. I used it, and I used it mainly for work purposes. Now, this is where the story gets a little interesting. Okay. I was working a lot. I didn't have time to game. I didn't have time to install any games, play any games for long periods of time. So I just didn't play any. I just installed all my work stuff, did my work, and went on about my business. A couple months later, I decided, all right, guys, it's time to get into gaming. I decided it's time to start streaming. And there comes the problem. As soon as I opened up anything graphically intensive, anything that would, I guess I wouldn't say strain, because as you've heard, it's a pretty expensive computer, pretty good computer. At the time, these are top of the line components. 1080 was the highest you could get. There was no RTX 1660. There was no RTX 2080. None of that was out at the time that I purchased this computer. So with that being said, the first hiccup I came up with was the display driver quit working when I played games. I'm talking about, you're thinking like I was playing Fortnite. Of course, Fortnite was a popular game. Playing Fortnite, I was playing Minecraft, I was playing Grand Theft Auto, playing a bunch of games, and after about 30 seconds to a minute, the graphics driver would freeze, or the display driver would freeze, everything would like reboot on everything that used graphics would reboot, everything display drivers would reboot, and it crashed the game. I did everything I could to fix this issue. Everything. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of options. I did everything on the internet you could find that had a display driver issue because I knew exactly what it was. I tested my memory. Memory test came back. All the memory was fine. I tested the graphics card. Came back, everything was fine. I didn't know what it was, so it had to be the display driver. And I was like, so I reinstalled my display driver multiple times. I reinstalled all the NVIDIA stuff multiple times, and I still couldn't find the issue. It just kept crashing every time I played a game. I can do anything else besides play a game. So then it came down to, I contacted Ironside. Now, when I contacted Ironside, they got right back with me. Literally, I sent them an email. I said, hey, I spent this much money on your product. I spent over $4,000 on the computer, and it's not letting me play games on it. I mean, I spent $4,000 on a computer that can do everything, and now the computer couldn't do anything, even though it can still do all my work stuff. I couldn't play games. I couldn't do what I spent the majority of the money on. My graphics cards couldn't do any of that with it. They responded. I sent an email, and within like 2 hours, they responded back, and I got through email, and we started chatting with the live chat people, and we tried to diagnose the problems. We tried everything I'd already tried resetting everything, tried testing each piece of RAM individually. Nothing worked. I swear we spent like a week testing everything. So it came back to sending the computer back. They said, hey, you don't mind ship the computer back with us? Because this is where a warranty comes in handy. My warranty was still there, and I'm so glad it was, because I had to send it back. Spent $100 on shipping, but what's $100 when you've already spent over $4,000 for a computer and you need the computer to work? So I went ahead and bit the bullet, spent the $100, sent it back to them. Now, upon them receiving it, guys, just know you can never send stuff back multiple times that costs that much without something being broken. And the entire front glass on my computer, on the Mac Iron, was shattered when they received it. Luckily, they were extremely nice, and they went ahead and replaced it, put something exact. It's almost like they found another front of the case and front tempered glass piece and put it on there, and it had exactly what mine had on it. So I'm thankful of him for doing that for me. And then they also, when they got it, they improved the size of the radiator fans I had in there, and they improved the size of the case fans I had on. So me spending that $100, ultimately, I'm pretty sure they spent more than $100 just doing upgrades that I didn't even ask for. So that's amazing. Now, on to fixing the problem. As everybody knows, when you send a computer back and there's a problem, every time you have somebody else look at it, the damn thing works fine. And thus was the case. So I'm thinking something may have got rattled. I'm thinking it was a hardware problem. I'm thinking something wasn't in all the way. And when it got to them, it worked perfectly. And I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I've been trying to work this out for over a month. I sent it to them. They started up and everything works completely fine. God, that's just the luck of having computers. Now, also, while it was there, while they were looking at it, they said, hey, everything works fine. Also, I asked them, is there any way I can do upgrades, anything, while it's already with y'all? I was like, I've got $1,000 I can put into upgrades if y'all let me. We'll see what's out there. And around this time was when the first RTXs started hitting the shelves. So they stopped carrying any of the older graphics cards. So I was like, can I get another 1080 in there? They're like, well, we don't think we have any 1080s. We'll look. So I called them again, and luckily I actually got to talk with the person who built my computer. The person who built my computer, which I'm so thankful for it, and let me get his name, was Mr. Brett from their RMA department. He looked through all their stuff, and they found a 1080. And they also found that the piece that they can use to water cool it too, and just add it to my system. So I had them give me a total, came out to be like $400 something, including adding it to the current system, including water cooling it. So I had them do that. Also, I wanted to upgrade the processor while it was there. Now I know some of you guys know the hassle it is to upgrade a processor after it's already in a water cooled closed circuit. So I was like, can I please get a better processor? And they were like, yeah, it's gonna cost a little bit, but you can get it. So I initially bought, let me go ahead and get what I initially bought. I initially bought the Ryzen 5 2700. And I was like, sweet, this is all I'm gonna need to upgrade it. Well, as soon as I sent it to him, then I bought the Ryzen 9 3900. Glad I made the upgrade. It's amazing, it's worth it. Makes doing videos 10 times easier. So they said that they'll be willing to do that and everything. The processor plus the graphics card came up to a little more than $1,000, which is why the total cost of the computer was at $5,000 and nothing less. All right, and then after they installed all that, got it ready, here's where Hiccup 2 came in. I was waiting on it for about a week. I was like, hey, y'all said it was out for shipping, where is it? And they sent me an email and they said, we are so sorry. Your computer was shipped to the wrong person. Guys, that's a $5,000 computer. $5,000 computer that was shipped to the wrong person. I was panicking. I was like, oh my God, please. I mean, I had very important files on the computer that can't get in the hands of somebody else. I took the password off because I sent it back to them. So I was like, oh my God, please don't go in there. Please don't touch those files. I really don't want to report this to my supervisor. So luckily, whoever they sent the computer to sent it back to them, and they sent it, and they quality checked it. They made sure nothing changed. They made sure nothing was taken off, and then they sent it to me. And then I finally got it back, and I was ecstatic that I got it back. I was a little worried because it did have some of my passwords on it, but I was like, I just went ahead and changed my passwords just for precaution's sake. And there goes, and that was the end of the second thing that went wrong with this computer. Overall, this whole process with Ironside has been extremely easy. They are extremely knowledgeable. Not one time was I forwarded overseas to talk to some call center, to talk to some guy who does not speak English, and he speaks just a little bit of English, but you can't understand what he's saying, and then he's gonna forward you 15 times. The whole time I was talking with Ironside, I was talking to somebody who worked for them. I was talking to either their customer service, and the customer service guy I mainly talked to was Ethan. I mean, Ethan, thank you, man. I know I sent a million emails. I know I sent a million. I was talking to you in live chat. I asked a million questions, but I mean, within a day, this guy responded to all my questions, even on the weekends. I feel like he was there 24/7, and I bugged him all the time to make sure everything I had was perfect. And he dealt with me, never got mad, never yelled, never did anything crazy. He did exactly what I expect somebody who is, I guess, somebody who's treating your computer as you would treat it. Somebody's treating the process to somebody who has no idea what's going on behind the scenes. Now, before I end this section, I also got to give a huge thank out to Brett Becerra. I'm not sure if I'm saying that wrong, but hopefully I'm not. Hopefully that's it. You built my computer. You even upgraded the computer for me. You even gave me recommendations. We talked through email a lot. I mean, we talked on the phone a little bit. You made this computer the way it is, and man, I love it. Thank you for everything you did for me, especially when you helped me out. Thank you. All right, guys. Overall thoughts on this process, and would I do it again? Would I buy pre-built again? Yes. But would I buy from anybody else beside Ironside? Maybe, but Ironside would definitely be my preferred first people I go to if I want another computer, just because they are so helpful. The guys there are so knowledgeable. I pestered them with questions. I mean, as soon as I sent a question in within the day, they'd have an answer. Within the hour, they'd have an answer back to me. Like I said, I purchased from iBuyPower and CyberPower, and I sent those guys emails, and it'd take 2 to 3 business days for them to respond back. It wasn't slow. It just, The guys at Ironside, actually, they're a lot faster. They care. They work with me the whole process. They work with me the whole way. I mean, even while they were building it, I was still asking them questions, still making sure everything was in there is going to be right. And they did it perfectly, flawlessly. Another main thing I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to ask is, wouldn't it be cheaper to build it instead of buying it? Well, guys, as soon as you get a full-time job, or if you already have one, you know that it takes time to build a quality computer. I mean, it just takes time. It takes effort. It takes dedication. I mean, and mainly you're working by yourself. You don't have anybody else helping you build computers. Like when I used to build them, I was working by myself or with my brother. I mean, we'd spend weeks to months on a computer because, I mean, we just get sidetracked with other things. Life would happen and we wouldn't be able to work on it. I mean, if you need a computer and you need it to be to you, you need it to be built within a month, I would definitely recommend buying a pre-built computer. I mean, for me, I recommend Ironside to build it, but I mean, there's plenty of other people out there, plenty of other companies you can go with. Just make sure they're a vetted company. Don't go let this cheap Chinese company build you a $1,000 computer, because if something happens, you're never going to be able to get in contact with them. You're never going to be able to do anything. You're just going to be out $1,000. So make sure you vet the company you're going to use. Yeah, I feel like I keep getting off topic. Well, let's hit this one more time. I don't know if I hit everything I wanted to hit. Now, with this computer, like I said, I spent $5,000. Could I have spent $4,000 and do it myself? Yes, but just the ease of having somebody else do it and me do my focus somewhere else just was more attractive than me sitting down and hand doing a computer. Also, with somebody else doing it, you get a warranty. Usually if you do it yourself and you start water cooling something, the warranty is gone immediately. No company is going to back you water cooling something and this is like your first time and they don't know what you're doing. So usually if you get high-end parts like this computer had, if you don't know what you're doing, if it's your first time, second time, make sure you have somebody there who has a little more experience, because most companies aren't going to offer a refund if you damage something, especially if you get water damage on something. The last thing I'm going to talk about is Ironside is a US based company, which means they build it in the States, in the United States. They don't build it overseas. It's all built in Wisconsin, in Reedsburg. I think that's where they're at, because every time I called them, every time I emailed them, that was on their email. That was where the caller ID came from, and that's where the shipping label came from FedEx. So I know 99% of the fact that that's where it came from. So if you want to support US companies, if you want to support US business, I mean, I definitely say go Ironside. At the end of the day, I know I spent a huge amount of money. I know my investment was 100% worth it. If I had to do it all again, if I had the money, if I had it just available to spend like I did this time, then I would definitely do it, hands down. I'd definitely go again with Ironside. They lived up to every expectation of mine and more. They handled every problem I had and more. Contacted them multiple times, and they're just a company I would go with again if I had to do this all over again. Now, guys, just at the end of the day, it's all up to you. If you want to buy a pre-built computer, I mean, I definitely say go Ironside. If you don't want to buy a pre-built computer, I mean, build it yourself. Just make sure you know what you're doing. Just make sure you enjoy the whole process as much as I did. Beside those slight hiccups, just make sure you enjoy the process, because spending this much money, investing this much money is definitely a process that you want to enjoy. You don't want to hate clicking the buy now button or clicking the buy button. You want to enjoy it. You want to be excited. You want to be as excited as I was when I got this computer and I can finally start testing it. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next video.